and our life and presence in this world. This is one of the main messages of the imagery of the reed. One of the main messages. You see, at the same time, the imagery of the reed tells you your relationship to God, and then tells you, so to speak, your duty in this world. On the one hand, it is a kind of ontological imagery, if you like, showing you and demonstrating the, ontologically, the relationship between the creator and the creator and the created. And on the other hand, it is an ethical imagery, if you like, telling us, teaching us how to behave in this world and how to visualize our function and duty, obligation in our life. Having said that, a question might come to the mind, and that question actually has come to the mind of Rumi, and he's going to clarify perhaps that question. If we are nothing but instruments, if we are sitting next to the lips of God, if He is playing with us whichever way He likes, if we are void, we are empty, we have nothing from ourselves, and everything absolutely comes from continually, our deprivations, our richness, our shortcomings, our perfectness, whatever you think is not our own, is a property of somebody else. We are only borrowers. That is exactly the word that Rumi uses. We are borrowers. We are not owners of anything in this world. Okay? So if that is the case, then all is compulsion. We have no volition. We have no voluntary act in this world. We are predetermined, and we are being forced actually to do this or to do that, and we are helpless. So, and as you know, this idea of predetermination of human beings having voluntary action, not having voluntary actions, things like that has been a very big issue in all theologies, including Islamic theology. Now Rumi actually tries to clarify that a little bit, and perhaps to raise that disturbing question. So in the story of the vizier, he goes on, of course again he gives us some other images which amplifies this helplessness of human beings vis-a-vis God. Do not look on us. Thank you. Do not look on us. Page 35. You've got it. Look to the end of the page I'm reading you. Do not on us. Do not fix gaze on us. Look on thine own kindness and generosity. We were not, and there was no demand on earth, yet thy grace was hearkening to our unspoken prayer. This we will elaborate on it later, but not in this session. Before the painter, now the imagery of the painting, the painter and the picture comes in again. Before the painter and the brush, the picture is helpless and bound like a child in the womb. Before omnipotence, all the people of the divine court of audience are as helpless as the fabric before the needle. Another picture, another imagery, fabric and the needle, child and the womb of the mother, painter and the picture. In all this you see the helplessness of the person vis-a-vis God. A picture cannot do anything with the painter. It's absolutely dependent on the brush of the pen of the painter. Whichever way he depicts the picture, that would be the picture, after all. The child in the womb of the mother, absolutely helpless. The fabric and the needle. So this helplessness blooms large, very large in his imageries, and actually he means it. He means it. And it is not only a poetical expression. He really means it, that we are absolutely nothing in front of God. So going to the page 36, yes, he moves on now, makes the picture on and so on. There is no power that he should move a hand in hands, no right of speech, that he should utter a word concerning injury or benefit. Then of course he uses, he brings in one of the one of the verses of Quran. Reads from the Quran the interpretation of the verse. God said, "Thou didst not throw when thou throwest." This is in Quran, "Ma ramayta iz ramayt," and God actually addresses the Prophet that when you threw the arrow, you were not the one who threw the arrow. It was God who threw the arrow. So that is in Quran. وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ. This is being used by Al-Ghazali in many places in his Ihya al-Ulum, exactly in order to say that we are not the actors, the real actors in this world. The actor is someone else, God Almighty. We are just instruments, okay? And the acts passes through us. We are not the creator of the acts, we are not the actors. Rumi has taken the same image and the same expression from Al-Ghazali. Of course it is in Quran, but I think Ghazali was the person who drew the attentions to this particular verse in order to say that it was not only the Prophet and the God who were like this, it is the relationship between every human being and the God. And it is as if God were saying to everybody that وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ. When you are ostensibly throwing an arrow, you are not throwing that arrow. God is behind that throwing. He is the real actor, the real shooter, if you like. Now, Rumi uses the same. If we let fly an arrow that is not from us, we are the bow and the shooter of the arrow is God. گر بپرانیم تیر آن نیز ماست، ما کمان و تیر اندازش خداست. This is the original. If we let fly an arrow, that action is not from us. We are only the bow, and the shooter of the arrow is God. Now, he comes to the question, and he would like to clarify that question. The question which comes to mind very naturally at this juncture is that, okay, so we are nothing. All is compulsion. All is God. And so what is the idea of the punishment, of reward, of everything? Because if we are no real actors in the world, so why there is a day of judgment, why there is this whole business of the volitions and deliberations and so on and so forth. Now, he would like to clarify that. This means that Rumi actually, though he left theology behind, when Shams came to him, what Shams originally taught him was just to leave everything, all belongings behind, including and most importantly his knowledge, his scholarship. Everything must be forgotten, must be left behind, must be abandoned, absolutely. So Rumi actually did this and promised to do that. So he was no longer a theologian, a commentator or whatever. But well, I mean, being a human being, so these things were there in the hardware of his personality, so he did it. Nevertheless, there was, I mean, some place all this. Theology to him, now and then, he just make allusions to theological points, and he tries actually to move on very swiftly. But nevertheless, he feels to do that. He said, this is not jabr, this is not compulsion. It is the meaning of Jabbari, almightiness. The mention of almightiness is for the sake of inspiring us with